Hi folks, this is the Rose and El Toro show. My name's Colin.
Thank you.
And this is the first episode, so thank you very much for listening to us. We would really appreciate it if you would go on and follow us on our social media, on Facebook, just the Rose and El Toro show, and on Twitter at Rose El Toro show. Today what we're going to be doing, we're going to jump straight in to the transfer deadline day in England.
What a day.
Yes, what a day indeed. When it comes down to it, in my opinion, there's one team that's done better than the rest, and today anyway it's got to be Everton.
Right, they've done really, really good business. I mean, when you look at Everton last year, they spent a massive amount of money, Ronald Koeman at the helm, and it just obviously didn't work out. Koeman lost his job. A lot of the players just not really became anything at the club, and the club had to be saved by Sam Allardyce, who's ended up losing his job last year.
He's made a career out of that though, saving clubs. Sam Allardyce.
I felt a bit bad for Sam, to be honest. I never thought he was going to fit in at the club. To be fair, from the start, Everton have got this whole thing about them that they want to be an attacking team and they want to look good, and they've got that through the years. But with Sam Allardyce, you're never going to get that. But anyway, back to what it is just now. Marco Silva now at the helm. Started off a bit slow in the transfer window, I thought. I wasn't really sure what Everton were going to do. They've got a bit of dead weight at the back. Just by dead weight, I mean age. You've got Ashley Williams and Phil Jagielka, who aren't getting any younger.
He's not. He's away now. Ashley Williams. He left apparently. That's what they were saying on Sky Sports News. He's gone.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. They've brought in today though Yerry Mina from Barcelona, Colombian defender. I thought he did a great World Cup, to be honest. He looked really good against England.
Really good.
They've brought in Andre Gomes. Didn't do too great at Barcelona. I watched him when he was at Valencia. He looked great, to be honest. I thought he was going to become a sort of next big thing, especially in the Portuguese squad. Missed out in the World Cup squad, surely purely down to the fact that he wasn't playing enough with Barcelona, which is obviously...
He's a largely unproven player at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. But he's coming to the Premier League. It's either going to make him or break him. It's a completely different league to anywhere else. And then for me, the big one today was Bernard. Young 25-year-old Brazilian. Can play in behind the striker, can play out in the left, can also play out in the right. He's got a lot of pace, he's got a lot of skill, he can finish, and they've got him for, as far as I'm aware, it was as a sort of free agent, but a free transfer, should I say. But I think that there's fees involved, which are up to 8.8 million. But
a bargain, to be fair.
Market, that's an absolutely insane price. I think going in with Sigurdsson, Idrissa Gana Gueye, who's a very, very underrated player in my opinion.
Yep.
And then you've got Richarlison, who they've signed from Watford.
40 million.
And they've got Tosin up front as well. Things are coming together quite nicely for Everton. Lucas Digne at the back as well, young French left back. Also was at Barcelona.
Was at Barca as well, yeah.
Didn't quite work out. He was never going to get in front of Jordi Alba, let's be honest.
Nah, I agree.
But I think the future's looking good for Everton. They've got Pickford in nets as well, obviously, has just off the back of a great World Cup.
Yep.
Still a lot of proving to do with Pickford, I think, but he's certainly made good ground on himself in the World Cup.
Again, a lot of these guys are young. Like as you said, Lucas Digne, like 25 years old, still got at least 6, 7, 8 years of career. Pickford, really young. Richarlison, really young.
Yep.
So they're not just building a squad like for now. They're building a squad for 3, 4 years time. I'm just looking up there. Williams is away to Stoke on loan, I believe.
Was that just
today?
Oh, right, okay.
He's away to Stoke, so. Look, there's a position for him just to essentially step right into, which, as you said, on the back of a really good World Cup, I think he'll hit the ground running in the Premier League, to be honest.
I mean, I think there was a lot of business done today that, as you said, Everton have probably done the best.
Yep.
I would agree to that to a certain extent. I think Fulham have had a tremendous window. They've obviously got a massive cash injection with new ownership over the last couple of years. They've come up from the Championship and they've made a complete signal of intent. They've signed Vieto on loan from Atletico Madrid. Valencia, he was at on loan last season. Had a bit of a on and off season with Valencia, but still a good young player. They've also brought in Sergio Rico from Sevilla on loan.
Yep.
Very, very, very good goalkeeper. He's been with Sevilla for a number of years now, and I think he's looked good. It's obviously a good move for Fulham, but away from deadline day, I think bringing in Seri is just been an absolute masterclass from Fulham. I mean, some of the clubs that were rumoured to be chasing him, Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, I mean, even Barcelona and Juventus were thrown into the mix as well. And for Fulham to land a player like that, they paid the money for him, but to land a player like that is a massive, massive move for them.
Oh, definitely. There's rumours of it was around about the £18 million mark.
I think it finished on 25 million as far as I'm aware.
Just staying on Fulham, Fosu Mensah on loan from Man U, brought in today. Callum Chambers brought in from Arsenal. Schürrle in on loan.
Schürrle, I think everybody actually
forgets that Schürrle's actually moved to Fulham. It is only a loan deal from Borussia Dortmund.
2 years loan deal.
But he was one of those players at Chelsea, wasn't he? He was the fans.
He was a super sub.
Yeah, the fans seem to love him. As far as I know,
the only Gunnar Solskjaer role.
Yeah, no. He's one of those players. I think he almost isn't good enough to start every game, but is more than capable of coming off the bench and changing the game.
Doing a 20-25 minute slot at 100% running.
They also today signed Zambo Anguissa from Marseille.
22.3 million club record.
He's only 22-year-old, and he's, as far as I know, it's a 5-year deal they've got him on. Young player, Cameroonian.
Yep.
Looked great in Ligue 1 last year, and I think the future's only going to get better for him as well. I think he almost started every game last year as well for Marseille. So obviously in that league, it's not of the same calibre of the Premier League, and you've got your PSG and your Monaco who are front runners in that league. But for Marseille to have a player of that age starting almost every game is he's got to have something.
He's got to have something about him. Then the other one, the big one for them that they were working on all summer, Alexander Mitrovic, the man who basically got them up on his own. Well, not on his own, but he did a big hand getting them up.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a strange one, to be honest, mate. The signal of intent seemed to be there. He was obviously on loan with them last season from Newcastle, and then he went back to Newcastle, and at the start of the window, it didn't seem to be as if it was going to happen. I think the owner of Fulham was really, really keen on it happening, because if you watch the playoffs last year, he was all over him, which he just obviously loves the guy, and I think he was a bit of a cult favourite at Newcastle. I don't think they'll be entirely happy to see him going, unfortunately, but it's one of those. Mike Ashley's a prick, and they're just going to have to deal with that until he sells the club.
Oh, I know all about that. I'm a Rangers fan, remember. So.
Newcastle. Well, not talking about Mike Ashley, don't worry.
No,
wouldn't waste my breath. But Newcastle, just going on to that. Sorry, they've had a really frustrating window. I think it started off really, really weirdly with Spain in the World Cup, as we all know, sacking their manager just prior to the World Cup starting.
Yep.
He was going to Real Madrid, and then the news broke just last week or the week before that the Newcastle United had written to the Spanish FA offering them Rafa Benitez.
Typical Ashley. To be fair.
And I just find that fascinating. Like if I was Rafa Benitez, I would be walking away from that right now.
I would have walked straight out.
It's just a bit of a joke. And then he's now managing a club. Yeah, they've made a couple of transfers. They've brought Federico Fernandez in today from Swansea. Bearing in mind they were just relegated. Fernandez, I've seen him in the Premier League. I've seen him play. He's not bad. He's not going to
set the world alight.
Yeah, exactly. They brought in Solomon Rondon.
Could be a good player.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good player. He's not going to set the world on fire. But on the backside of that, they've had to let Dwight Gale go on loan to West Brom, which
he's an impact player.
Yeah, Dwight Gale's not going to make any big difference either way. But I think the Newcastle fans would have rather had him there on the bench to come on and support Rondon or play off him or something along those lines. I think the big one for Newcastle is bringing Kennedy back in on loan.
Yeah, definitely.
Fans were massively behind him last season. The young lad's got a lot about him. He's confident on the ball. He's wanting to move forward. He wants to get by players. He's not scared to run at them, which is only a good thing. I suppose it's just a typical Chelsea youth player is just getting fucking papped out left, right and centre. It's just
at least he's getting some playing time going to Newcastle. But
do you know, just on that, see the amount of Premier League teams that are loaning young players out for the sheer sake of financial fair play. It is a fucking joke. I don't even see the point in financial fair play being a thing, because there's a way around it, which is bring in all these youth players to fill in the quota and then fucking pap them out.
Yeah.
So
there's only one team that's really been hit with it, and that's Milan.
Oh,
Milan, that's based on appeal as well.
It just seems to be. I mean, Man City got a fine for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you'd need to fucking fine Man City about 30 billion for it to be any fucking matter. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly. Nothing more than a rap.
No, well, that's me just going off on a bit of a tangent there. It's just that really annoys me. It's just these players that, especially your young English players and British players as a whole, are just getting fucking flung out left, right and centre and never get a chance to play.
Because these guys get brought in from abroad. That's the thing. That you've got countries like Germany who will play a lot of their youth players. Like, look, even the German national team when they did the rebuild a couple of years ago, brought in all these young.
A good few years ago now.
Yeah, brought in a good load of youngsters and moulded the team around them. Like, if more Premier League teams did that, you'd probably find they'd be a lot more successful in Europe, because you'll be bringing in local boys. And I'm saying local, obviously, guys who are from that country, who are playing for national pride, if not playing for the badge. I mean, bringing guys in who are young and hungry and moulding a team around them, that's really, in my opinion, that's the way football should be going. But, as you said, there's guys coming in from abroad, and all these young English, Scottish, all these youngsters just get papped out. Literally to anyone and everybody. I know Andy Halliday's not young, but look at that last year. He got papped out to Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, wherever it was. It's insane.
Aye, well, anyway, back to the transfers. We've obviously spent a bit of time talking about the teams that have done really well. I think we'd be doing a massive injustice to Tottenham if we didn't talk about their transfer window.
Music to my ears. Absolutely fantastic. Spurs brought in a massive 0 players.
First Premier League team. Let me just get this right. First Premier League team not to bring in a single fucking player since the summer window began.
Magnificent.
It's an absolute joke.
And the only team, as you said to me earlier on,
top 5 divisions in Europe, they are the only team not to make a transfer this window.
So top divisions, I'm assuming we're going England, Germany, Spain, Italy and France.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
It's I think it's worrying. Like I get it. Daniel Levy is putting a lot of money.
In the world.
Oh, apart from that, he's putting a lot of money. They've built this brand new, magnificent, amazing, all singing, all dancing stadium.
Yeah.
With probably the most state-of-the-art technology in the whole of Europe, as far as I can see. I've obviously not seen the stadium in full yet, but I think the fans, if they're not erupting about this, I don't really get why. I've seen a few fans on social media. I've heard a few fans on different radio stations and stuff talking about the fact that they've got a great squad, they've got a young squad, they've got depth, they've got this, they've got that. But my question to them is well, if you've got all that, you finished 24 points behind Manchester City last season. You finished 4 points behind Man United in second, and I'm almost certain you only finished maybe between 5 and 10 points ahead of Liverpool. So if you've got this amazing squad and all the other teams around you, fair enough, minus Man United, we'll talk about that in a minute, have all built, how are you going to move forward? Because right, Dele Alli, he's
overrated, in my opinion.
He's a good player. I do agree to a certain extent. He goes missing a lot.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, there's no point in even talking about him. He's just different class.
Best goal scorer in the world at the moment. Like,
well,
in my opinion, best out and out striker.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, he's just off the back of the.
That's hard for me to say.
Yeah, it was just off the back of the Golden Boot at the World Cup. So he's not struggling. Fair enough, half of them come off his arse, but he's not struggling. But there goes the question of what the fuck do they do if Harry Kane gets injured again? They've got Fernando Llorente. I'm sure Vincent Janssen has went back out on loan. He was at Fenerbahce.
I believe he was the only player to leave Tottenham also.
But I suppose some of them might look at it that holding on to Alderweireld has been almost a transfer in itself. Moussa Dembele's not getting any younger. Victor Wanyama has kind of started, I don't want to say declining, because I don't think I've seen enough of him to make that statement, but I've not seen enough of him or heard enough of him or seen enough on social media that leads me to suggest that he's made vast improvements. He always looked like he was going to be a player when he was at Celtic. He always looked like he was going to be even more of a player when he was at Southampton. But I don't really know if he's kicked on. He's in that midfield of, they've got Dembele, they've got Ali who can play a bit further back, they've got Dyer, yep.
Again, a good young player as well.
Exactly, yeah. They've got Harry Winks to come back from injury.
Yep.
But all in all, I think Tottenham needed to bring in, I would say, another 3 or 4 players at least.
They don't have much depth. They've got
for example, their backup goalie is still Michel Vorm, who's again, he's not a terrible goalie, but if Lloris was to get injured, you're going to be fucked.
When you take it into perspective with the backup goalie, you look at Man U and their backup goalie situation.
It's fucking League Grant just now.
Well. that is true.
Romero will be back.
Let's just stick on that for a bit.
To be fair, Lee Grant's actually, in my opinion, he's a decent keeper. I would say Lee Grant at his age has been brought in a very sensible move, and that was to be a goalkeeping coach with United, where he eventually decides that he's going to call it a day. But it was a bit of a strange move onto Man United, obviously, as we are one of 3 transfers throughout the whole window. Diego Dalot, of course, coming in from Porto, very young Portuguese right back, and Fred obviously
could be a very good signing.
25 years old, can play central defensive mid, central attacking mid, very capable of finding a pass. Very, very, very decent player. Manchester City were obviously after him, and he's signed for United.
Yep.
I just, again, obviously they've made 3 transfers, but again, the in my opinion, have not done enough. I don't think since Ferguson's left, or retired, should I say, that they've done anything of massive value in the transfer market. Obviously, bringing in Zlatan, for the deal they did, and obviously they spent a lot of money on Pogba. That's not really worked out yet. I remember when it was Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill, and when Ferguson phoned Gill and said, "I want a fucking player," the player was there.
Players forced through moves. You don't get
people
that.
People wanted to play with Ferguson, and obviously Mourinho is a massive name in world football. Whether you like him or fucking hate him, he's a
He can be a
massive
prick
name.
at times.
But Manchester United have been in this sort of almost just flatline area of. Last year it was Ramos, and Ramos was coming, and it was going to be a done deal, and then Ramos signed a new contract, and then Alderweireld was coming, and then it was Harry Maguire, and then it was Yerry Mina, and then it was Harry Maguire, and then it was Godin, and it's just, for the outside world, obviously a lot of people don't like Man United, I get that, and they'll be fucking loving it, but it's just a bit embarrassing because Manchester United are meant to be the worldwide club. They're meant to be the most popular club on planet Earth.
Statistics would show you that
they're marketed fucking amazingly. They've got the history there, more Premier League titles than anyone else. But they're just not there now. And they're relying on Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Marouane Fellaini. Lindelof is still... I genuinely believe Lindelof could come good if he's given a chance, but then it's one of those clubs that you can't really have a player that needs a chance, that needs 3 years.
Yeah, you need to hit the ground, and you need to hit the ground running.
I suppose the one breaking the rule for that's De Gea.
Aye.
Which is...
He was meant to go... He was apparently talks of him going to Wigan before he turned around and started playing like he did now.
Yeah, well, he was going to go on loan to Wigan.
Just think about that now.
Lindegaard, Lindegaard was drafted in for a while, and De Gea was left on the bench.
It's more a bit up the arse though. That, do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of people seen that the potential was there, but when you're at that level of football, you can't really afford to make too many mistakes. Yeah. But it is what it is. The transfer deadline days is obviously now 5 PM in England, and it's done. And they've got the basis of a good squad there. They've got Matic, Fred, and Pogba in the middle of that part now. Pogba's obviously the move with Barcelona. Was it happening? Was it not happening?
Absolutely fantastic World Cup, Pogba.
Yeah, and that's obviously what's driven the moves. Well, I say that Mino Raiola, I think, is a lot down a lot to that. Basically, I think it's all to do with the Alexis Sanchez move, the wages that Sanchez is on at Manchester United. Pogba thought, obviously,
I want myself some of that.
The fucking £250,000, £300,000 that he's on isn't enough. He's on 500. I want 500 because that's just the way obviously football goes.
Can't you blame him though? Because looking back at Sanchez's performances last season, if you want to compare the two, Sanchez didn't exactly hit the ground running with Man U either. He had a very lacklustre second half of the season. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't cracking for Arsenal at the start of the season either, but for those wages, if you were sitting in that Man United dressing room and you're Paul Pogba and you look to your right and you're seeing Alexis Sanchez, who's not playing any better than you, really in world football he's not a bigger name than you, really, and he's on 200 grand more a week than you. Would you not want an extra 200 grand a week?
Oh,
I know I would.
Well, I suppose MD would be lying if they said they wouldn't, but that's what's so fucking wrong with football now. It's all about... I mean, let me ask you something honestly, right?
Yep.
Sir Alex Ferguson's still at that club. Would this be happening?
No. It would. For one, you wouldn't have Sanchez in there on 500 grand a week, I don't think.
No, well, obviously that's an argument. Ferguson... I mean, I don't think he really gave too much of a fuck what players were on. but he made sure they were all on the same level.
Let's put it this way: Sir Alex Ferguson was a fucking wizard. Like, in my personal opinion, he, for maybe the last 2 years, or the last year certainly, overachieved with that squad that he had. Like, he had an aging squad, and in my opinion, he overachieved with what he had at his disposal. He still had a really good team, but in my opinion, he overachieved with what he had. He didn't really strengthen in the last couple of years. Really, he played pretty much. You had Vidic, you had Ferdinand still, you had Scholes still in that team. Carrick, Carrick who's just retired.
Well, that was a major problem because when Ferguson left within a 2 to 3 year period, you then lost Scholes, who obviously come back out of retirement and played again.
Yep.
You lost Scholes, you lost Giggs, you lost Vidic, you lost Ferdinand, you lost Evra.
Van der Sar.
Van der Sar was...
he
was gone already.
He already gone?
But all those players... then obviously Wayne Rooney was starting to decline.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be tough, and it's always going to be a transitional period. But the problem with the Manchester United have now got is Manchester City, who have only brought in 2 players. They've brought in Riyad Mahrez,
who will sit on a bench and not play much. Like,
do you think?
I think so. I think
he did start the Charity Shield.
Yes, but when you think you've got Sané on the left, and the praise that Bernardo Silva got, saying that the performance he put in was a masterpiece, it was magnificent from his manager. In my opinion, I don't think Mahrez will play that much. I think he's just been brought in because they are expecting obviously to get to the deeper stages of Champions League, the deeper stages of the FA Cup, and obviously be challenging for the league.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, on the back of what we've said about Spurs, Man City didn't. They are at a stage. They could afford to do Spurs. They could afford to say we're not not signing anyone because we've just won the league
and broke records doing it.
Yeah, but what Pep is doing is he's obviously looked at it. He said, right, I maybe need to. He's obviously fancies maybe pushing Raheem up just behind Aguero, Raheem Sterling. And then having someone else out in the right, maybe, I don't know, maybe he doesn't feel Bernardo Silva's capable enough of doing Champions League, or it's just a different option with Mahrez there, 2 different players. But he's obviously looked at it and went, do you know what, we've done the league, probably, in my opinion, going to win it at a canter again.
Yeah, I would say so.
And now they're thinking, well, we need to win the Champions League because they do need to win the Champions League because this is what this owner wants.
Yeah.
They've brought in the young Australian lad, Daniel Arzani, from their sister club, would you call it? Melbourne City.
Yeah.
Who I believe is going to go on a 2-year loan deal to Celtic. It might be a year, it might be 2 years. I'm sure it is 2 years.
It's not a good relationship with Celtic as well, to be fair.
Yeah, well, that was Paddy Roberts as well, and then before that they had Denier. Yeah, well, there was chat of Denier going back, but I think he's. I saw on Twitter the other day. He's wanting to go back to Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, yeah, boys.
But overall, I think Man
City have done good business. I think they've done it quick. They've got what they wanted. They've signed this young lad. Just touching again on what we mentioned there, they've signed this young guy, financial fair play, they've got another youth player in, and they can punt him out to Celtic. I'm sure he'll do well at Celtic.
Yep.
Just touching on that, Celtic were very, very, very poor last night.
I never saw the game.
I don't really know what's going on. They're obviously, Celtic have been flying in the league, more or less unchallenged, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's fair to say that.
I don't think Rangers have been strong enough even last season. Obviously, I think it's just been such a roundabout.
I think the results in the Old Firm games kind of proved that.
I think it's such a roundabout. Rangers just now, the board moving about, different people in here, different people in there. Then Murray, was he staying? Was he going? Obviously. Katshinya was just an absolute clusterfuck.
He was the Paul Le Guin.
It was just a disaster from start to finish.
Carlos Peña, that kind of sums it all up.
I mean, you're obviously...
Seen him in the cat house one time.
Oh, well, that sums that up. But Yeah, just going back to Man City. Just quickly, last of the Premier League chat. Your winner, your top four, and your relegation.
Right, cool. So, winner, I agree with you, is Man City at a canter. I don't see anyone catching them. Nobody's really impressed me with at that level with the signings. Top four, so I'm going to go obviously Man City first. I would say. I'm going to say Liverpool second. I'm going to then say Man United third, Arsenal four. That's my top four.
Fair enough. And relegation?
Relegation, it's a hard one. I think one club that we haven't touched on is Wolves. Do you know what I mean? Like, wow.
What, you're saying they're going to go back down?
No, I don't. I think they'll be safe. I was going to say with the guys coming up, I actually think...
Just to be clear, there's a few clubs we've not touched on. We've not touched on Liverpool, we've not touched all the rest of the Premier League clubs, but we can't, obviously,
we can't
no
obviously
short
talk about
time spell,
everything,
we can't talk about everything. We will come back to these clubs for anyone that is listening. If you're a fan of any clubs that you want us to talk about, just send us a tweet. Or just drop us a message on Facebook. But just moving on quickly, your relegation candidates, please.
Relegation candidates, I'm going to go Bournemouth. I'm going to go Southampton, Huddersfield. That's my three.
Bournemouth,
Southampton, Huddersfield.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't. Bournemouth haven't really strengthened, really.
I am going to go Man City to win the league.
Genuinely thought you were going to say relegated.
I fucking wish. Man City to win the league. I'm going to go Liverpool, close second.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Chelsea and Arsenal.
Oh.
Chelsea's
midfield is a fucking
monster. It's insane.
Jorginho, Kovacic and Kante.
As I said earlier, I don't think Man United have done enough. I think Mourinho has been so negative. I know that a lot of people have suggested it may be mind games, but he's like a fucking...
I know he's clever,
like
he's not that clever,
stroppy
really.
Teenager. It's so annoying. Man United, between Man United and Spurs battling now for fifth. Relegation, I'm gonna go Cardiff.
Okay. They've not really strengthened, to be fair. Not impressed with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cardiff, Newcastle United, and Southampton.
Well, we've got one. We've got one in the same that we're going to think we're going to go down. I think Newcastle will stay up. I think they've just got... I think Rafa Benitez, I'm going to throw it out there, he's probably one of the most underrated coaches in the league, if not the most underrated coach in the league.
Yeah.
Or even world football, really.
No, he is. He's very underrated, but...
I think he'll keep them up.
Well...
we can obviously come back to this at the end of the season.
Day.
That's it. We can come back to this at the end of the season and see how our predictions go.
I'm rubbing it in your face that I was right and you were wrong.
Well, or when I'm rubbing it in your face when Arsenal finish above Man U. So,
well, there's a fuss for everything.
If your prediction's right, anyway.
Right. So earlier on, we asked on Facebook for any questions or points or anything you wanted us to bring up. So we have the resident wrestling expert that is Mr. C.S. Rose, aka Colin.
Hello.
So start off firstly with Mr. Chris Hutton. Colin,
Yes.
what's your views on Brock Lesnar doing very minimal work with the WWE and with Heyman talking him up as a dual sport champion? Do you see him retaining at SummerSlam and keeping the title until he fights DC, Daniel Cormier, in the Octagon?
I don't think there's a chance of that at all. The pure reason being he's got a 6-month suspension left on his UFC from the USADA.
Yep.
I do not see him holding that title for another 6 months. Like, that takes him into February, and then that's you into WrestleMania season. That's after the Rumble. There's no chance that there's... When it comes, I know it's obviously Roman Reigns versus Brock at SummerSlam, and a lot of people, like, Roman Reigns splits the WWE universe. I love Roman Reigns. I think he's an absolute class act. Handles himself, carries himself with sheer class. I challenge anyone really to go back and look through Roman Reigns' pay-per-view matches, or even matches on Raw, for the last 6 months, and pick a bad one. Pick a bad match. Like, the common denominator in there is Roman Reigns, and I think SummerSlam's the time where they're going to let the Reigns loose, pardon the pun, and put the title on him and give him the win. I think it's going to be interesting though, because I think with the tension between Brock and Heyman, there's a chance. Like, Roman is not strong on the mic. He's not at the level of your guys in the past, like The Rock, like Punk, like even The Miz currently. Like, Heyman in Reigns' corner, instant heel.
Yeah.
You don't even have to create that, instant heel.
Mm-hmm.
And Brock can piss off and do whatever he wants.
I mean, I'm not up to date with the WWE, but the reason for that, I suppose, opens up a debate for another night. Is I feel that, and I feel it's the reason that Brock Lesnar is still champion, Brock Lesnar is still there, Brock Lesnar is still able to just sit in his fucking arse and do nothing, is that Vince McMahon has just become all about the money and all about himself and all about the marketing of the WWE. Now, on one side you've got a sentence that says, right, okay, well, if you were a businessman, you're there to make money, you're there to make business, but that was never, to me, what WWE was supposed to be. It was supposed to be about the fans, it was supposed to be about the wrestling. I mean, I've watched some indie shows, I've watched some ICW,
in Japan as well.
WOS, which is now on
making a comeback
on ITV.
The British boys.
For me, that's a lot fucking better. It really is, because it's all just about young guys wanting to fucking wrestle and make money out of it and make a career out of it and look fucking good and entertain people.
Damn right, they push the balls to the walls. They do it. Like,
quick question, because I don't understand this whole situation. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. Roman Reigns and Bad Boy Tama Tonga,
yeah, two Samoans
seem to be having some sort of feud on Twitter.
I've not seen it. Like, he's in New Japan. Tama Tonga, he's part of the Bullet Club.
Something to do with Roman being a snitch on Twitter. I just was interested if you...
I've not actually seen any of it. I've not been... I don't follow his Twitter kind of religiously right enough, so I've not really seen it. That'd be interesting to have a look into, actually. They're Samoan, I'm assuming they're related, to be honest. Like, you find, obviously, most of them are related in some way, whether it be the Blood Brothers kind of pact thing or an actual family relation, but that's actually quite interesting. I've not looked into that. Getting back into Chris's point with the whole dual champion, like, I don't think Brock will beat DC. I don't. There's a reason why DC is undefeated at heavyweight. He is an absolute animal. He is. When it comes to wrestling, Brock has his college background and everything, but DC's a different beast.
I think he's got to give... I want to see Kami Miocic too. I want to see...
Oh yeah, I think so as well, yeah. I don't think he'll give him it right away.
No, he won't.
I don't think Garbrandt, see, looking back on it, like, just with the kind of the whole super fight and like doing a trilogy, don't think Garbrandt should have got his straight away either, in retrospect, but I would love to see a Miocic Cormier too as well. I think an early knockout kind of robbed us of a 5-round classic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Miocic, to me, I don't really know what sort of camp he came out of going into that fight, but he was the deadliest man on the planet for me at that point.
Yeah. Really, MD, who holds the heavyweight championship for UFC, is the deadliest man on the planet. Let's be honest. Like, there was a time where Brock was the deadliest man on the planet.
Yeah, well, allegedly so.
Allegedly, yep.
Talking about UFC, what happened to you, man?
Ah, mate, don't ask me. Well, I've actually watched the fight back. I went and I looked at it. It was something I listened to. Who was it? It was actually Joe Rogan on his podcast. I was listening to that, and one of the boys was saying that he came out and you could tell the fact that he got knocked out by TJ every punch that Garbrandt was throwing, he was trying to fucking knock him out. Like, and that's why I've got the opinion of he shouldn't have got the rematch straight away, because that knockout's too fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people forget TJ got knocked down and was in a shitload of trouble at the end of that first round in the first fight. If that bell was 10 seconds later, the match was over. So Garbrandt, in my opinion, went out there going, I know that I can knock TJ out. I've done it before. I've knocked him down and he survived by the skin of his teeth. But he's constantly been playing, I think, that he just wants revenge and he wants to knock him out to prove that he can do it, whereas TJ's just been clever, which TJ is.
That was always my argument, that TJ Dillashaw is the smarter fighter
out of the two. That's not to say that Cody Garbrandt is an idiot or anything. It's just in my
fight
opinion
IQ.
that his fight IQ is higher than Cody's, and I genuinely believe that. Well, I don't need to believe because it's realistic that he's the better fighter.
Yeah, and again, it can come down to genuinely 10 seconds. As I said, at the end of that first round, it could have been a completely different story, but we'll never know. I think Garbrandt he'll get a chance again. Not anytime soon. I think he'll earn it. He'll earn his way back. Yeah.
But what has Conor McGregor started? Gervonta Davis has now challenged TJ Dillashaw,
Mayweather's boy,
to, well, he's not actually challenged him to anything. He's
just
challenged
called
him
him
to a
out.
fight. He's called him out. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
If it's a fight, TJ wins. A fight, TJ wins.
But it's in an octagon. I really, really, really struggle to imagine any boxer going into an octagon and winning.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't see it.
They went into an octagon and said, with the same
I think the only
gloves on
person
and
really-
it's stand up only, different animal.
That's not
However,
that's not
that's not
UFC,
mixed
that's
martial
not
arts. Mixed martial arts.
Exactly.
It's not what it is. I would have loved to have seen Miocic fight Anthony Joshua. That would have been
I just because you don't
class.
like Joshua and you would want to see Miocic murder him. That's a story for a different day as well.
We'll see if that one comes to any fruition. I think it would just be
Another publicity stunt for money. Talking about McGregor like I just did.
And money.
He's coming back.
Yep.
Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be the same fighter?
We don't know. We don't know what he's been doing apart from a court case.
Oh, well, I know what he's been doing. He's been sitting about in a fucking boat, dressing his son in $1 million clothes and living the high life.
I would do it. I would do it if I could.
Acting like an absolute fucking bellend.
Do you know who it reminds me of actually? David Hay with the Bellew. All that shit on the boat. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It just.
we know you
He's
get money.
just.
Like,
I used to have so much respect for Conor McGregor. I used to think, you've came from very little. You fought your way up. You made everything of what you are on your own. But now he's just become a fucking. He's just become a helmet. Like I just cannot be bothered with him anymore. I want Khabib to go in that octagon and suffocate the life out of him. I just do not want him to win, because if he wins, then he's just going to start rambling on again as if he's the fucking king of the world, and he's not. There are better fighters out there.
oh, the McGregor, yeah, I completely agree. Especially at the lightweight. Like, there's a lot of boys at lightweight. I mean, that's what they're fighting at. Khabib himself is an animal. What is he? 26-0.
Yeah.
26-0. That's insane. When it comes down to what the result is going to be, see, I'm thrown, because if Conor's smart, doesn't let Khabib take him down, it's a test of chins, and I think Conor's got the stronger chin. I've seen Khabib get rocked a few times with what looks like a glass jaw, to be fair.
He's not. Well, I don't know if he's got a glass jaw, to be honest.
We don't really know. That's the thing.
True, but Khabib isn't Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is
an absolute monster. Like, he is an absolute beast.
Yeah, but he was right. Fair enough. He's not the worst. He's not the worst UFC fighter. He's got the
Just
heart
takes
of
a
an
shitload
absolute
of
fucking
punishment,
lion.
man.
He's just an absolute. He's just brain dead. Like he just takes punch after punch after punch
I
and
don't
just
think he can
refuses to
feel
go
a
down.
thing.
But I think Khabib is stronger taken to ground, and he's stronger on the ground, and he's better at what he does. Is the summary of that?
Yeah, well, it's one of those ones. It's going to end up being the biggest pay-per-view in UFC history, purely because either folk will tune in to watch Conor win, or they'll tune in to watch him get his fucking head kicked in. Anyway, moving on from UFC and fighting in general. Well, don't know if I'm moving on from fighting in general. Xander, actually.
Back to Facebook.
Yeah, back to Facebook questions. Xander has asked, do you guys feel like the enforcer role in the NHL is dying out due to a softer rule book? And I'm going to put that over at you, Mikey, because you're our resident NHL expert. Yeah.
Well, I do and I don't. The boys that are coming through from different leagues, whether that be Sweden or most of the Scandinavian countries or just America and Canada, they all want to be the finesse players. They want to be wingers. They want to be playmakers. The enforcer role is dying out on its own. The NHL are not helping matters by enforcing such strict penalties. The referees, especially in the coming season, have been told to tighten up on cross-checking, elbowing, boarding as well is going to be another penalty, which, as far as I'm aware, actually the boarding penalty minutes are actually getting risen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so yeah, I suppose in answer to the question, yeah, I feel it's dying out. It's one of those that we can't just sit back and expect these players to take fucking punishment every game they play because we find it entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
one thing I fucking detest is people that say, "I watch ice hockey because there's hunters are fighting." That's the smallest part of ice hockey.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah, it fucking happens. It happens a lot. But ice hockey is, if you give it a chance, one of the most entertaining American. Well, the NHL is one of the most entertaining American sports that you can watch. I think a lot of people that, if you are listening to this, when the NHL season starts, give it a look in, pick a team and just follow them. You don't need to watch it all. I think Free Sports show a lot of the highlights. They show a few live games as well. It's free.
ESPN as well.
So it's definitely worth a watch. There's a few amazing young talented players. There's a boy just come in from Sweden, Dallin, who's a young defender.
A young boy you've told me about as well.
And he is gonna set the fucking NHL on fire. He is class. He's so strong. He's defensively sound. He's amazing going forward. He'll score goals as a defender. As a D-man, he'll score goals. And it is an entertaining game. But NFL and NHL are obviously, when you look at MLB or NBA, that they're two of the more the two contact sports, and they're two contact sports where these players are now in the stage of they're getting a lot of after effects, concussions, and links to dementia and Alzheimer's later in life. And yeah, okay, some of the rules are getting brought in are a bit too much. I mean, it's going to come a point in the NFL where you can't tackle at all. But they're going the right way about it because they are looking after the players at the end of the day. And
that's the main thing.
That's
all
what
for our
it's all
entertainment,
about.
But these guys are athletes and they want to have as long a career as possible.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's weird that NHL in the UK is probably one of the lesser watched sports in comparison to NBA
And
NFL especially, and obviously MLB. I think MLB is probably just ahead of NHL, which I don't understand because the NFL comes over to London. They play their 4 games, although I think that's going to be more with Tottenham's new stadium.
Yep.
They play their games, they go back, and they obviously get a massive crowd for that. And it's an amazing sport. I follow it. I love it.
It's a spectacle when
Yeah,
they come over here.
it's amazing. Obviously, a lot of people don't like it because of the amount of time it can take between yards and quarters and touchdowns and everything else. NBA has then obviously got a massive following as well, and then MLB and NHL just sort of follow behind them. The thing I don't get is that in Britain we don't have a massively overpopulated. We don't have a massive basketball league. We don't really have anything in comparison to a proper basketball setup. We've got nothing in regards to NFL.
No,
American football. We've got local teams.
We've got a national league, but it's nothing.
The East Kilbride Pirates, for example, are a fucking amazing team. I used to work with a couple of guys that were in that team,
and a few boys play the Glasgow Tigers as well. So
they're an amazing team, and fair play to those guys for doing it. But in Britain, we've got the British Elite Ice Hockey League, which is brilliant. Up here we've got the Glasgow Clan, we've got Dundee, we've got Edinburgh, we've got Fife
Flyers,
and then you've got your teams down south. You've got Cardiff, you've got Manchester, Sheffield, Nottingham, Belfast. These teams are really good teams. Yeah. And if you can get yourself along to the Braehead Arena, or get yourself along to the Manchester Evening News Arena, get yourself along to whatever stadiums near you, and just give it a chance, because it's a good night. You can have a beer if you want. You can take the kids. It's a family friendly environment, and it is an amazing sport to watch. So the point of what I'm trying to make is that I don't understand how NHL sort of can be so far behind, because
of its entertainment value.
We've got that actual league over here that offers so much. There's leagues below that as well, and we've got a local ice hockey player coming on the show soon, Ross. He's going to come on and chat to us a bit about how he started, playing ice hockey, and where he's went and where he's been, and how he feels that ice hockey could become better in the UK, and I'm really looking forward to that, to be honest. But yeah, so long tangent cut short, believe it or not. I think it is dying out.
Well, you touched on the NFL there. Daniel Kearney asked on the post that I put out earlier today, do you think more British people would watch the NFL if it wasn't so shit? Now,
sorry, just repeat that.
Do you think more British people would watch the NFL if it wasn't so shit?
Well, I think we'll just ignore that, because it's the most fucking pointless question. See, to be fair, right?
If you think it's shit, don't watch it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like each to their own. I know, as I mentioned there, I know a lot of reasons why people don't watch it. But
you can't say more British people when you fill
even to ask funny questions is fine, but it's just a fucking it's just a waste of time.
Wembley, what? Seats 90,000?
90,000.
They fill it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That's 90,000 people, and that's people like me who watch it, and Mikey who haven't got a ticket. Do you know what I mean? So
getting back to more serious questions though, because that one was a bit ridiculous. This one's coming in from Arthur Byrne. This is that's a question. What's your spaghetti policy?
Bolognese, not too hard, not too soft, just right.
See, I think there's quite a few things you can do with spaghetti.
I don't want to know what you want to do with spaghetti, mate.
Well, probably better not touch on it, but
aye.
See, I do like it. Obviously, I love a bolognese, but do you know what really annoys me? People that put fucking carrots in a bolognese.
Oh no, they deserve
what the actual fuck?
Death penalty.
Why would you put carrots in a bolognese?
People who put carrots in a bolognese are actually the reason why I petition to return the death penalty.
Do you know what those type of people are? Do you know what they are?
I don't. What are they making?
They're the type of people that put fucking pineapple on a pizza. Pizza.
100%. Again, death penalty.
I
need to get a wee death penalty button.
Yeah.
That I can click here. 1 for questions like Daniel Kearney's, and 2 for people who put carrots and bolognese and pineapple on pizza. I think we're missing the point here. Like, he's obviously talking about spaghetti. What about like penny or fusilli? These pastas are underrated. Macaroni, come on. Macaroni's the nation's favourite. You can do anything with it. Tuna pasta, cheese. Macaroni and cheese, come on.
I think we're forgetting the most important pasta, and it's forgotten about a lot because of its sheeted format, and that is lasagna.
I mean, I'm not a massive fan of lasagna. I'm not.
Oh, you are just a fucking creep.
I'm not,
you
man.
are just
Get me
a
a spaghetti.
fucking creep.
Get me a spaghetti bolognese over a lasagna. Fucking
That's just
any
a
day,
weird,
man.
weird thing.
Any
to be
day.
honest. It's a weird thing. You can put anything in a lasagna. You can have a fucking chicken lasagna. You can have a beef lasagna like the normal people.
If I was going to eat any lasagna, it'd be a beef lasagna, but I wouldn't go into a restaurant and ask for a lasagna.
Oh, that's
no
just
chance.
fucking sick.
It's just me, man. I wouldn't do it.
Right, well, listen, guys. We're just about the end of the show.
To end on that bombshell.
I know.
Pasta la vista.
If you've been listening and you're still listening, we would really appreciate any sort of feedback you can give us. It's our first show. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this. We're doing it for our own entertainment, but we're also doing it to hopefully entertain some people. Anything, whether you want to fucking slaughter us or whether you want to praise us, please praise us. Please. Just please let us know, because we don't get any better without you letting us know what you want to hear. I'd prefer if you didn't write fuck off and die or don't do a podcast again. That would be really appreciated. We're just looking for constructive criticism. We're going to run a few Twitter polls tonight in regards to some of the topics we've asked. So if you can head over to @Rose El Toro Show, we're going to stick up a few different polls, just around who you think's done the best business, who you think's going to finish first, who you think's going to finish in the top 4, who you think's going to get relegated, and then based on the questions that we've had online, we're going to do that too. Keep on the Twitter page as well. We'll be keeping up to date with when the next episode is going to be out. But until then, I've been Mikey, and thank you very much for listening.
And I've been Colin, as Mikey.
You nearly forgot your fucking name there.
I've
been. Who have I been?
I'm Colin. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.